Good afternoon, everybody, on this lovely bank holiday Monday. Hope you're all very well indeed, guys and girls. And it's the Transfer Show, and I'm delighted I'm joined by John. How are you, John?
Excuse me. Good afternoon to all of you. How are you guys? I hope you're well. And it's a lovely Monday afternoon in Bristol. And I've got another 4 more days for my birthday. Deadline days on Friday is my birthday. And yeah, so thanks for having us on, T.
Yeah, no problem. Before we get into the show, if you do like what you see, please do smash the like. It does help the channel. So please do smash the like. Also, if you are brand new to the channel, come and hit the subscribe. Come be part of the great community. Also hit the bell notification. Tells you when I'm live. Have a pre-record any upcoming shows. It is 99p to become a member. You can do that by clicking the join button and make a donation in the chat by clicking the $sign. All money is reinvested in the channel as well. Right, okay. So before we actually start talking Newcastle United and transfers, let's take stock of what happened earlier on. So earlier on today, we heard this very, very sad news came out that Sven-G&ouml Eriksson, our former England manager, has sadly passed away at the age of 76. Now we know he's had the illness, and he did an emotional video the other day, which I think got to a lot of people. Sven was a very good manager for England. He only got to quarterfinals, but the thing is, you could see there was something there that he wanted to get us further, and he just couldn't get us further than that. But he did very well for England. Very good club manager, by the way. Also, on the other side, we know Sven liked his women, and that was very well documented in the media. But you know what? It's a sad day that a man like this has sadly passed away. And I hope he does rest in peace, and he'll meet up with Sir Bobby Robson, who once invited him to stand the dugout with him at Ipswich Town. So, yeah, very sad day for football. And I think we'll just take a little moment, just have a few minutes, just have a couple of seconds or so, just have a moment to yourselves and think about all the good things that Sven's done in football as well. So let's have a couple of moments now. Okay, guys, thank you very much indeed. I'll go and just nip into some comments as well and see what people have got to say. Brian says, afternoon, TikTok, Mr. Eels. I'm not blaming Mitchell because he's not the one with the money ever since Amanda left. Looks like a guy completely out of his depth. Amanda would have had the players in by now. Yeah, it's a very good point, that. Very good point. If we sign Calvert-Lewin, what nickname should we give him? John Bailey or Pat Hurd? Oh, jeez. I hope we're not signing Calvert-Lewin. Please, no. Please, please, please. Not at all. Not at all. We don't want him coming into the club. Keeping it tuned. Hi, Jason. Hope you're well. He says, afternoon, everyone. I think Tony knows exactly how angry I am at the state of the transfers this window. I do, mate. I have sympathy. I have sympathy. David says, afternoon, Tony and all. God, this is a shite transfer window so far. The players must be thinking the same. The top players want to see progress. Absolutely, David. Absolutely. And do you know what? Yes, I said we want to be number one. Well, how are we going to be number one if we're not even bringing players in? Window is still open. We are going to see some activity. Let's hope we do, Bia. We have to. Good afternoon, everyone, says Julie. Good afternoon. Sergeant Charles Zim. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Hope you're well. Brian says, I blame Eddie to a degree, also because he wants these types of players and you can recommend them to Mitchell. Doesn't mean you've got to have them. Yeah, that's true, Brian. That's true. Tony's in the booth. I forgot he had a stream lined up. No, it was me. My laptop took ages to load up. I don't know if it was doing an update on the way on loading up. So, Jopadoni says, afternoon, folks. Afternoon to you. Intro's too long, Tony. Shut up, Andrew. He's just taking the pee. Tristan says, Eddie Howe's fallen off like a bad habit. John's in the chat there saying good afternoon to everybody as well. Julie says, R.I.P. Sven-G&ouml Eriksson, a true legend. Absolutely, Julie. Anthony Ross, afternoon, Tony and John. Shame about Sven, yeah. Hi, John. You love Serie A. Which player would be great for us in that league? Who would we be able to get if you had to pick one? PS. RIP Sven. He had some hard fixtures, unlike Southgate. John, that's a great question. I mean, it depends who he's looking at.
Depends.
Right winger, John.
I mean, Scalvini for Atalanta would have been fantastic. I think he is a fantastic defender for Atalanta, but he's got a long-term injury on free at Atalanta. I mean, I think Lookman would be a fantastic buy as well. Plays on the right
He's
hand
off to
side.
PSG.
I believe he is. Lookman's gone to PSG.
Yeah.
Wow. I tell you what.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know that, mate. No, I mean, I was out today, so I didn't know. But Atalanta will hit Atalanta really, really hard. They will sell for
that was a few days ago.
Wow, that's news to me because I did not know that. And if he does, I wish him all the best in that one as well in that league. I mean, Tomori at the back will be another good acquisition as well. However, if Milan do sell, it's not given enough time to buy replacements. So for me, I think that'll be on sale about a minute. But yeah, that's the defensive side. That's what we need. But Lookman would have been perfect. But unfortunately, he's gone to PSG. Chiesa.
Well, he hasn't quite signed for them yet, John. But also Arsenal's in for him as well.
Yeah, I believe that. I heard that, but I didn't know about Lookman as well. But they've got some. Well, it's got lots of players there as well. I mean, Kvaratskhelia would be a dream, but that's never going to happen anytime soon. There's fit to Osimhen, so I'm thinking a bit too high there. But for me, I mean, you go out there. I mean, Dybala is still up for sale as well if they want to get him as a 10, but that's never going to happen anytime soon. But for me, it's just it's going to be ungettable now because they're well into their season. It's the second week of the season. I just don't think the Italian clubs are going to sell anytime soon, unfortunately. It'd be good. Can it happen?
Yeah.
But we keep a look at and say, yeah.
Hi, Tony and John. What's going on this window? Yeah, and Darren says, well done, Tony. Nice tribute to Sven. Yeah, no worries, mate. Thank you. Tony's going to say Chiesa, says Spear. I know I hate the fly in, but Eddie Howe, first season, 3 away defeats, 4th finish. Second season, 11 away defeats, 7th finish. Third season, 2 games in, not good enough. Got to admit, Eddie Howe's getting worse each year. We're still unbeaten, though. The baseman, Rain, says, greetings and salutations. Thinking back the game yesterday, as good as Livermento is, Trippier is better and must be our number 1 right back. Good point, mate. I hate being negative, but something isn't right, says keeping it tuned. I mean, look, right. I'm going to read out something here. And I just thought this guy is either a total muppet because what on hell is he writing? He's supposed to be a Newcastle fan at the end of the day. And why are you writing tosh like this? Why? So he puts on, he's called LC on Twitter. Shearer is just a negative idiot who doesn't understand football. He's probably a Mackham. Does he not remember that Ashley was here? Does he not trust the process? That's how backward you all sound. Now, I'm sorry. For a starters, Shearer is not a Mackham. He's a Geordie. And if this guy is supposed to be a Newcastle fan, then surely you should realise that Shearer actually turned down Man U to sign for Newcastle. And there was opportunities where Shearer could have walked away from Newcastle. But no, he stayed because he stayed with a club he loved. He helped the club, you know. Yeah, okay, we didn't win trophies for Shearer. But he stayed through the club through thick and thin. Became our record scorer of all time in the club. And then you get muppets like that on Twitter who think he's a Mackham and think he's out of touch and hasn't got a clue. Well, I'm sorry, mate. I don't think you've got a bloody clue. What do you think of that, John?
Yeah, look, I know LCNUSC, right? I mean, you've got to be careful. Wow, the thing is, right? I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, it does. I don't know the lad well, but if my memory serves rightly, I was on TNT last season, right? And the very next day, he kind of criticised us for it, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then I think he apologised for it as well, if my memory serves correctly. However, right, you can't go out and say things like that, Tony. You just can't. Alan Shearer is not a Mackham, right? He is a Geordie fan like everybody else, yeah? okay? But this is why you got to be so careful what you write on social media now, yeah? People's got an opinion, cool. But unfortunately, I've got to be careful what I've got to put down now, Tony, because if I put things like that down, I'll get lynched. But at the end of the day, right, you know, some of the people agree with the guy, yeah? And some of them don't. But I just take the notice of that now, do you know what I mean? Because there's people on there, they're negative, right? You know, look, I understand, right? It's not been a good window. It's been a shocking window. And it's absolutely shocking, Tony. Yeah. However, right, we're peed off about the transfer window. Yeah. It's not right. The club ain't right. But don't bring Shearer into it, because I think Shearer is absolutely right. Because there's not something right at the club. Yeah. Something is not right at the club. Yeah. I mean, does Eddie get on with Paul Mitchell? We don't know, right? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, yeah? But Darren Neal's has got to take some of the blame as well, because he's the one who's got to make the business as well. You got to back Eddie Howe. You either do, you don't, yeah? Don't go in the stack, right? Whipping it up to the lads, right? It's like going back to Mike Ashley, yeah? Mike Ashley went in with the drinks of the lads, yeah? Look what it turned out to be. Darren Neal's doing exactly the same thing. I mean, I'm not going to call him out yet, yeah? We'll see how this window go, right? But one thing I'm going to say, we need to get players through the door. I've gone back to LC, right? You might be listening to it, but don't say that. You got an opinion, but don't bring Shearer into it. Sorry. Do you think I'm right, Tony? Do you think I've been a bit overpash?
No, because, you know, look what Shearer done for Newcastle United.
Fantastic.
You know, and not only that, Shearer's got a foundation up there as well. So, look, you know, how's he not a Geordie through and through?
Yeah, well, I mean, look,
I don't get it.
He could have gone to United, right, before he joined us, yeah, and he spent 10 years in a black and white shirt, the all-time record goal scorer at the club, yeah, and then he come out with a tweet like that, yeah. Maybe he's overthinking. Maybe he's having a go. Maybe he's being a bit peeved off of the transfer window. I get it, but don't have a go or a legend at the football club. Alan Shearer is always going to be a legend, right? He's not a happy clapper. He says it how it is. Like me, you, Pete, and people in the chat. Real talk, yeah? But you can't come out and say that. And this is why I've got to be careful I write on social media now, because I get jumped on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry for being passionate, Tony, but you know what? I think a lot of people's going to kind of agree.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, as we enter this final week of the transfer window, which closes on Friday, 11 p.m, it slams shut. Let's hope it's not slamming shut firmly in our face without a signing coming through the door. So, this morning, news has broke this morning that James Trafford, there he is there, that we are now interested in him on a loan deal with an obligation to buy next summer because it would satisfy the PSR issues. Now, I can quite get on board with why it would be a loan with an option to buy. It'd probably be a good move. Now, if we are looking at him, now, since this has come out this morning, Lee Rader's come out and said so close to him from NUFC suggests we're not looking at James Trafford. So why is he saying that, but everybody else is saying we are looking at him? So this story wouldn't have just come out of the blue. Somebody's got to have leaked this story somewhere along the line, and there's probably a bit of truth in this. Whether Lee Rader's got it right, look, I think he's a good journalist, Lee Rader, but he is at the Ronnie Gill, so I sort of like think, yeah, does he get it right? Is he right or wrong? I'm not sure. But if we are bringing Trafford in, the one thing that says to me straight away is that means is Dubravka and Vlachodimos on their way out the club. Obviously, has Odysseus Vlachodimos known about this when he came to the club, that his move was a PSR move, or did he not know anything about it? Has he been kept on the bench? Has he been kept away from the bench because he's not classed as being in a competitive game? to be so we can move him on. Whilst I'm on the subject of Vlachodimos, I'm actually going to give you some couple of good points here, which people might not have realised. So anyway, right, he has a couple of things about Vlachodimos that you may not have known. Right, so back in the beginning of 2021, December 2021, that was 2 months after our takeover went through, we were very interested in signing Vlachodimos, who was highly coveted at the time because he had such a super season for Benfica. But Benfica were battling to keep a hold of their star keeper, and that we were eyeing up a January swoop for him. And he was our top target. But the Portuguese press praised Vlachodimos for his performance in the victory of Benfica over Boavista when he got man the match, and he decided to stay with Benfica. So that's number one. So we were actually looking at getting him back then in 2021. So if anybody hasn't known that, then yeah, we have. So we were linked with him a few years ago. He did, however, pick up a red card as well when he was at Benfica, and this will make a lot of people laugh in the chat as well. When he picked up the red card for Benfica, it was for a foul on a striker. And it's a striker that we've never ever been able to get over the line. And yes, that striker is Bas Dost. Believe it or not, he actually fouled Bas Dost and got sent off for it. And look, still to this day, Bas Dost is still not over the line. So what's going on with that transfer? But yeah. So I just thought I'd throw them couple of curveballs in there for you. So yeah, we did actually look at him back in 2021, ahead of that January window. That was a window when we signed Bruno and Trippier and Target and Dan Burn. So look, and Chris Wood, obviously. Yeah, so we were looking at him back then. John, what's your thoughts? Did you know we were looking for him back then in 2021?
I think we were after him, right? But I think we went for Lip Pope. We was always going to get Lip Pope anyway. But for me, back then, for Benfica, people say he was a fantastic keeper, right? And he's bailed out Benfica a couple more times. But to improve as a keeper, you need to do it at a different league. Like Serie A, La Liga, the Bundesliga. Don't forget, Vlachodimos was born in Stuttgart, by the way. He's a German, but playing as a Greece number one. But for me, he could have done it in another country, like, I think he stayed in Portugal too long. That's the thing. If he went to another country and proved himself there, then we would have probably known, because Benfica's got 3 clubs there. That's Benfica, Porto, Sporting Lisbon. However, at the time, I think it was a lot of money at the time. So, yeah. But now we got him. It looks like he's going to go out on loan. Yeah. And I think to myself, Tony, what was the point of signing this guy? We're going to send him out on loan and get another keeper in.
It's been a PSR thing, John. So it's been like, well, we sold Elliot Anderson, so Forest have sort of turned around and said, well, I'll tell you what, we're scratching your back, you scratch our back, you take Vlachodimos. It's like businessmen going on a golf course and having a round of golf, going in the 19th hole, which is the clubhouse, sitting in the clubhouse, having a few beers and sealing the deal. And that's exactly what it is between Newcastle and Forest. We've had the round of golf, we've sat in the clubhouse, and we're sealing the deal for 2 players either way. So look,
yeah, it could be that.
I think it's a fiddle all along. And because,
you know what it is? Go on.
And because he can, so if he doesn't actually play for us competitively, then he can move on to another club. And that's where that 3rd club rule comes in. But because you only played in friendlies, it's not classed as a competitive game. But if he was sitting on the bench, it would be in the Premier League, and that's probably why he hasn't been on the bench, and that's probably why Dubravka's been on the bench. And the club are trying to probably actively move Vlachodimos on.
Correct. But it's just what it is.
Chipper says there, Darren Neils has to take the flak. He's the face of the club now. Everything falls on him. Absolutely, Chippers. I mean, look, you see him at the stack and he's whipping everybody up. And have you ever seen him Mackham in Milan and all this? But look, this is what we used to have under our former owner. And look, it's all right, Darren Neils being there and everybody going, oh, Darren Neils, what a brilliant guy, what a lovely guy, he's great. Yeah, he might be great, but what's he doing behind the scenes? You know? Is his job under threat from PIF? Because after this window, if this window goes tits up, PIF might bin him off and say, right, we've had enough, off you go, we'll get another CEO who can do a better job. So, you know, we don't know, but yeah, sorry, John.
I was going to say, right, I read the Liam Kennedy column today, and Darren Neils, yes, he's a good guy. Yes, he wants to go on the stack and whip it off the fans and have fun with the lads, sort of thing. But this reminds us back to the Ashley days. So I mentioned this then, back in 2007, out of the drinks of the lads, right, ripping it up, and then they just say, you know what, I'm going to stuff you fans. Do you know what I mean? I can see Darren Neils doing the same thing. Whip out the fans, rub shoulders of them, and then big up to Queen of Hearts, Mary, up you are, pet. And you know what it is, right? I mean, let's be honest about it, Tony, right? I mean, it's back time now. He start being serious and get the players coming in. He's our CEO. And if you can't do that job, I don't know what he did at Atlanta. Atlanta, it might work there. It cannot work here. Because our fans aren't stupid. We know what we want. It's business. We want players through that door. Yeah. And I tell you what, right? We're supposed to be a proper club, a proper run club. Yeah. Let's prove it that way now. Because I'll tell you something now, right? No wonder Amanda Mehmet left. And then something needs to happen very soon, Tony, because I'll tell you what, after Friday, if you don't get a statement signed and come through that door, there will be questions. And I think the fans, especially on social media, will be absolutely forming. At the minute, we've not lost the 2 games, but Tony, we have not been playing well at all, mate. We have not.
Anthony Ross wants Trafford one for the future. Chipper says, I think Dubs is off and Vlad's to be on loan. Yeah, you could well be right, Chippers. Because look, Dubravka's got a year left. He's 35. He needs first team football. Let's get rid. Also, with Vlachodimos and Elect are interested in him. I'm not sure if that's just on a loan deal. But again, it may be one of them. We can send him on loan and then in January just maybe sell him for a fee and get something for him. But yeah, it is a strange situation. I totally agree. Mick says, big up, lads, and everyone. Big up to you, mate. Daz Doss, the legendary striker. Yeah, absolutely.
So just a quick one, right? I mean, quickly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a player we could have got in midfield, in midfield 3 to replace 36, right? And that's Piotr Zelinski, right? Used to play for Napoli. Now it's gone to Inter on the fee signing. He would have been absolutely perfect in the midfield 3. I know you've got Tonali, but those 4 players would have been fantastic. But again, we just decide to you know, wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And all these players, even Ipswich have spent more than us.
Yeah.
They spent about 80 to 100 million quid, and they're not done yet.
No, they're not. They're not
done.
Not at all. Alessandro says, thank you for continuing NUFC coverage. I've never seen you gentlemen streaming around this time. Good to be back. No, well, because it's a bank holiday Monday. Obviously, we're not obviously at work, so yeah, it's nice to have an afternoon show for a change rather than an evening show. But yeah, absolutely, mate. Carl says he had a horrendous season for Forest. My mate is Forest Nut, and he says he's been a huge flop for Forest. Yeah, I mean, look, a couple of years ago, before he went to Forest, when he had that great season for Benfica, he had a £60 million release clause. Did Vlachodimos. He was one highly rated keepers, and he's just had a fall from grace. You never know, he may go to a club and may pick up his career again and may be back up that way, but nobody will pay that sort of money for him. I also think it'd be very disrespectful to the player, only to flog him 5 minutes later. I mean, look, I don't think Blackademus knows about it. I don't think he knew about it. I wouldn't, because I think if the club had said, "Oh, you're moving," because it's for a PSR thing, but Newcastle won't be keeping you, they'll be selling you on, he would have said, "I'm not leaving." So he was probably promised that he was going to get action at Newcastle, probably in cup games, and now he's not. He's probably going to be moved on. Chipper says, "I'm not going to slag Mitchell off. The bloke has been here 4 weeks and deserves a lot longer. Take a lot longer than that to develop a working relationship." Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Chippers. Can't blame Mitchell for this.
You got to give him a chance. You got to give the guy a chance, because at the end of the day, he only came about 6 weeks, nearly 2 months now. Comes in, everyone celebrated by getting Paul Mitchell. Everyone's social media celebrated getting this guy. But at the end of the day, right, he's saying now, we got to give him a chance. Simple as that.
BR says Darren Eales is not a Mike Ashley. That's a ridiculous statement. We're not saying he's a Mike Ashley.
No, we're not saying that ridiculous statement. What we're saying is he needs to start making some business out here. That's what you're trying to, Brian. That's what you're trying to say. We're not having a go at him, but we need him to be serious and start getting the players coming in. He's our CEO. We need players coming in now. We're not having a go at him. We're just saying that we need to do business now.
Marlon Stales, hi mate, hope you're well. If you're new to the channel, do hit the subscribe and do hit the likes as well. He says Noni Madueke is the perfect right winger for Newcastle. He will beat his man 1v1. He's getting better for Chelsea. I can see his improvement. Thing is, after his hat-trick yesterday, I think that one you could see is now dead in the water. I can't see that transfer coming off now. I can't. It's going to be a hard one to push through, unless, because we've now got Pedro Neto, if we went in and said, "Look, there's 50 million quid," Chelsea might think, "Yeah, okay, we'll take it," and because we've got another winger. And look, they may move Madueke on, who knows, because they're now in for Jadon Sancho as well from Man United. It's getting ridiculous, Chelsea Football Club. They want Don and they want Calvert-Lewin as well. So look, if they're going in for Sancho, who is another right winger, then I don't get what Chelsea are trying to do here. So I would say Madueke's probably not going to happen, but then you never say never, because you just never know in football, especially with Chelsea, with Todd Bowley in charge. You never know what that man's going to do next. Nobody does. I don't even think their own fans know what's happening with that club. It's a right mess of a club. I'm glad our owners aren't like that, if I'm honest. I would hate to have an owner like that who just goes out and buys this player, that player, and that player, and then tries to throw them in a team to gel. Yeah, okay, they beat Wolves 6-2. Maybe Wolves were poor. I don't know. I didn't see the game. But all I can say is, they got beat off City. Let's see how Chelsea do this season. But, it's all great, Rosie in the garden. That Felix scored on his second debut, Joe Felix. But I think things will come back to haunt them. I really do. They'll end up with a transfer ban eventually. Jason says, "Yeah, wouldn't it be a kick in the lower region if Flack started on Wednesday as a cup keeper? That would be funny, wouldn't it? Especially if it went to penalties and he saved the penalties as well."
I'll be there on Wednesday as well, Tony, for that game. And if he does, then he's got. I'm not being funny, right? But Forest fans are going to be laughing at him. I think they're going to target him. They're not targeting the midfield. They're going to target him straight away. But going back to Brian, we do apologise about the goal. I do apologise, but what we're saying is we're talking about the two differences, mate. It's as simple as that. So it has to be said. But if he does the business, cool.
Yeah. Aaron the Brit says, "I'm surprised you guys haven't pushed forward and proved to the league that you want to be amongst the best again. It's strange from your ownership. Sad news about our former manager, Sven." Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. I'm surprised we haven't. I'm surprised we haven't pushed on for any more players at the moment. But hopefully this week may become a busy week. We'll see what happens. Michael Brown says, "Could it be that Newcastle may have to sell before they can buy? All this is due to FFP and PSR." I don't think so. I don't think we need to sell to buy. I think there's probably players we need to get out the club, like Matt Targett needs to leave the club. And it might be a thing that we send him on loan somewhere and pay his wages for 60% of his wages. There's talk of Ryan Fraser going to Southampton, as long as we pay the wages for him till the end of his contract next year. I can see that possibly happening. It's a mess. There's players there that need to go. There's players that should have been sold on by now. And that's the problem. And the problem is we ain't got the players who we can just sell on. Because under the previous ownership, they were bought and then they were put on stupidly long contracts with big wages and you can't shift them. Likes of Jacob Murphy, if you wanted to shift him on, you couldn't shift him on. He's on big money. Almiron. Nobody wants to take Almiron. So, we all find it difficult to shift some of these players on. Julie says, not heard anything about Gay today, no. Lee Toff says, I heard that Greek keeper is going to one of the Saudi PIF clubs for 20 million. What we give Forest. Wow, if that's the case, then do you know what? Take it all day long, absolutely. Warren doesn't think we'll get Madueke. Yeah, I don't think so. Eels does need to get his finger out, says Julie. Let's hope so.
Just breaking news there, right? According to Celtic, Tony, sorry, Matt O'Reilly has just joined Brighton. I think it's between 25 and 30 million quid. Big miss for Celtic.
What a cracking signing.
I'll tell you what, mate, I wish him all the best. And you know what? He's been a fantastic player. Left MK Dons to go to Celtic. He's been fantastic. He really has. And Celtic, yes, they're a selling club. If they will sell, if the right money comes in. And I love the way they're doing a model in Celtic. And, they're both so young, cheap young players, and they sell them on for profits. And it is a well-run club. And I get it. I get all that from Celtic, yeah, because Celtic's a setting team. And I wish Matt all the best. And that's another player Newcastle could have done with. And guess what, Tony? He is English.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Chipper says, must admit, if we get no one else in, I don't want Eels coming out with the same excuses on Saturday in the video, the same as January. Absolutely, mate.
So, look.
Michael says, Sterling at Chelsea is available, if not by potential loan deal until the end of the season. Not for me, sorry. Not for me, Sterling. Not for me. He's finished as far as I'm concerned. Not my type of player. Foxy says, John, but why would Zelensky at 30 years of age pick us, a team not in Europe, compared to the best team in Italy right now with a chance to win trophies? We need to be more realistic.
Yeah, it could be a new challenge, maybe. Oh, Rosh, this guy, he's at Napoli, and he's a good damn player. He's a link-up guy between the midfield and the attack. He scores goals as well. And you know what? He's a Polish international. He is a cracking player. He really is. But at the end of the day, we can only try. But he decided to stay in Italy. But you just never know.
Spiritual says, when are you going to give up on Guy? Just give up. Look.
Should have given up a couple of weeks ago, to be fair.
Sorry, well, I think it should have been. I think we should have give up on this transfer. But look, apparently we're still at the table. But Oliver Glasner come out on Saturday and he said he's sick of all this transfer noise. It's really getting to him now. So, look, I can see why he's getting upset and you can understand it. So, we've offered the money for them. And it's like, I think it's a take it or leave it to Palace now. But I think we've exhausted this long enough now. It's been over 2 weeks. It's come up for 3 weeks. And I think it's time that we said, look, enough's enough. Let's walk away from it. There are other centre-halves out there. Go and get another centre-half somewhere else. And give up on this deal as far as I'm concerned. There is talks of Man City looking at Eze for 80 million quid. If they set, and I think that's his release clause. If they sell him for 80 million quid, then obviously there's no way Gui's going either. So they're not going to lose the guts of that team. But again, it's one of them, we just have to wait and see what happens. But there is alternatives out there. And one that was being linked to us in the last few days is this guy, Mohamed Simikin of RB Leipzig, who Liverpool are quite interested in. And their fans are actually getting a bit restless, shall we say, because they're now worried that we're going to go in and nick them before they can get in. Now, apparently he has a £60 million release clause. So if we're willing to pay 65 million up front for Guy, go and pay 60 million quid for Simikin. He's a fantastic defender, French guy. And do you know what? I would absolutely be happy with this signing. He's top notch. John, Simikin, what about you?
That guy is the real deal. I mean, one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga for Leipzig, and 6'2" of him. Doesn't score many goals to get that, but when you see him play, he brings the ball out from the back. He's rapid, he's quick. If you think Michael van der Ven is quick, this guy is the real deal. Brings the ball out from the back. His pass ability is great, and he is just the sort of player that we need. It costs around 60 mil, the release clause for Leipzig. If you offer 65 mil for this guy, for Gay, and it's got turned down 4 times, go for this guy. I think 6'2". I think he's better potential than Gay. I like Gay, but I think Simikin is the complete package. Yeah, if you play in the Bundesliga, then you can play in any league. The Bundesliga is a tough league, and I think if you get him, that will be a statement signing. Let's be real, and I cannot understand why Newcastle hold him back. We need a defender. Go and get him. Leipzig will sell because they're selling club. They buy, again, like Celtic, they buy young and they sell for profits. Yeah, that's why they got Benjamin Sesko to sign a new 5-year deal with a release clause, because they know he's a good player and they can make a lot of money on this guy. Yeah, but he's got 2 years left on his contract, because I think he joined in 2021. 3 seasons in German football, the Bundesliga, and try and get this guy, because I think he'd be a really, really good player. I think he's better than Zassi. I really do. Because this guy's rapid. News.
Newcastle signed Sandro Tonali on a 4-year deal. Be eligible to play in the first game on Wednesday.
Hey!
I like it, Mick. Like it. Jason says, Target, Longshite, Mickey, Dubs, Fraser needs to go. There's money to be had, but it all goes back to Eddie showing them too much respect. Wanting to keep them, minus Fraser, lol. Yeah, I have to agree. I'm going to just nip back to the start comment that Tristan put in the chat a little bit earlier. And he says, guys, how long do we have to wait to see this club go to the next level? Eddie Howe has reached his limit. Name me a top manager who sits by and watches that shite on the pitch. Someone has to answer. Look, I know a few Bournemouth fans that I've spoken to, and I'm not going to beat around the bush yet. They've all said to me, Eddie Howe has a ceiling. And he has a certain ceiling that when he reaches that ceiling, that's as far as he can go. Now, has he hit that ceiling with Newcastle? That is a thing we're not sure. He used to like playing his favourites at Bournemouth, the likes of Lys Mousset. Eventually, Bournemouth ended up getting relegated. I'm not saying Newcastle getting relegated for 1 minute, but all I'm saying is Bournemouth ended up going back down. Okay, you could see that was through Ryan Fraser refusing to sign a 6-week temporary deal just to help them over the line, which might have kept them up. Plus, they had luck against them as well, because Aston Villa got that ghost goal against Sheffield United when the technology wasn't working properly. So, look, I see where you're coming from on that one, Tristan. And I'm not sure. John, do you think Eddie's reached the limit now at Newcastle? He's been here 3 years. Have we really? I know he kept us up. He got with Champions League and then he got with Europa Conference League qualification, which was unfortunately snatched away because it was a freak season when Salford United went out and beat Man City in the final and managed to sneak into the Europa League, and which stopped us getting Conference League. But do you think Eddie has took us as far as he can, or do you believe Eddie can take us further?
Look, I'm an Eddie Howe fan, and everyone knows that, yeah. I'll back my manager under his ownership, yeah. I trust his ownership, yeah. But for me, I think this season is going to be massive for Eddie. It's going to be absolutely massive, yeah. It's like watching, look, let's be real. He knows what he's got to get. He's got to get us a trophy. And also, if he can't get us a trophy, cool. He's got to get us in the top 4, top 6, yeah. With this team we've got, Well, we're about 3-4 players away from getting top four. I really do, because last season, the season before we got top four, cool. That was absolutely amazing. That was brilliant. But last season, you had injuries, Tony. We had a lot of injuries. It kept us in the in the low region, like keeping it to said. Let's be real, right? But this season, no European football is a must. This is a big test on Eddie Howe now. Yeah, I still think he needs to be supported. I really do think he needs to be supported. Tony, I've been told, right? I mean, that Eddie is still technically favoured for an England job. Yeah, that's what I've been told. Yeah, and I think he wants to take an England job. But for me, he said he wants to see it through in Newcastle United. This season could, and I get a lot of people, not just Newcastle fans, man, but non-Newcastle fans, like who I know from the community I'm with, they're telling me Eddie needs to get us a trophy or get in the top four. If he doesn't, he could be in big trouble. However, I'm not Eddie out. I'm Eddie in, right? And I will back him as long as I can. But we'll see what happens this season. But he needs to be ruthless, and he needs to be getting better players coming through, because you can't have players in for Newcastle for likes of Miggy, 36, Fraser, Murphy, I'm sorry to say, yeah, Hayden, Lewis, they should be out of the club, yeah. And why are they still here?
Yeah,
because no one don't want to buy them, and the wages they're on. Don't blame these owners, blame the former owner, yeah. But back to your question, right, with Eddie Howe, this season is going to be absolutely huge for Eddie Howe. But I will back this guy. I'll back him.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Tony? What do you think, Tony? Do you think it's going to be? Do you think he's got to win us a trophy and he's got to get us in Europe this season? Because I know Mandy Staveley's gone, Mehmed has gone. Yeah, we can't help that. Because
what I want to see from Eddie, I want to see some ruthlessness from him, and what I mean by that is, I don't want to see his favourites playing. Now, I get why he played Kelly yesterday. He dropped Hall, which I couldn't understand why Lewis Hall was dropped. And I'm still scratching my head as to why Lewis Hall got dropped. Yes, he had a little bit of a bad start against Southampton, but he got better. And he done 2 clearances for us, one off the line. Now, yesterday, he was dropped to the bench. Lewis Hall must have been thinking, what the hell have I done wrong to be dropped to the bench? And you play Lloyd Kelly. Okay, fair enough. He plays Lloyd Kelly because he probably thinks, well, if I play Lloyd Kelly at left back, he knows the Bournemouth team, so he knows how to play against them, and it'll make it easier for us. It'll be tactical. Wrong. It didn't work as far as I'm concerned. I wasn't impressed with Kelly. Not being impressed with him. Okay, yeah, fair enough. In a couple of the pre-season games, he looked a bit okay. The ball he put through for Asula, which was unfortunately offside. But look, other than that, I haven't really been that impressed. Now, when Lewis Hall come on yesterday, we looked a totally different team with Lewis Hall in it. Now, that's a 19-year-old kid. Now, some of our fans say he's not very good at defending, but he will get better. He's 19. He's got a long way to go before he gets to his peak. And I still believe for 28 million quid, he is a bargain. He is a snip. Because that kid is going to be worth about 50, 60, 70, maybe 80 million in a couple of years, 2-3 years' time. Chelsea fans are still disgusted that the club's got rid of him. They're absolutely gutted they've not got Lewis Hall in that side. So, look, we looked a different team when he came on yesterday, and this is what I'm saying. Eddie Howe needs to be ruthless and do what he needs to do best, but stop playing favourites. Okay, once Tonali's back, once Longstaff went off yesterday, we looked better. When Willock come on? Willock looked much better for the team. Longstaff, for me, isn't the player that's going to take us to the next level. And I know there'll be people out there, maybe happy clappers out there, whatever, not liking the fact that I'm calling Longstaff out. But I've said this for a while. Longstaff is not a top-level elite player. If you want the elite players, you've got to go out and pay the money for these elite players. Longstaff is more for a mid-table team. Someone like a Fulham, a Bournemouth, you know, someone who hangs around mid-table, maybe pushing for that European place. If Longstaff was that good, well, when Man U offered that 50 million and our former owner turned it down, he should have cashed in on him because he'd have been laughing all the way at the bank with that 50 million quid. But we didn't. We kept him. Under Rafa, yes, Longstaff was a great player under Rafa. It was under Cabbagehead when he lost 2 years of his footballing career because his football career was non-existent under Cabbagehead. And maybe this has affected his confidence or whatever. We know he had an injury last season. We know we were short in midfield because, we had no Tonali for 10 months. So, look, at the end of the day, I want to see Eddie Howe come out, be more ruthless and start having the balls to drop these players that are not playing well enough. Murphy didn't have the greatest game yesterday. When Barnes came on, he was better than Murphy. Gordon went to the right and it looked better again. But I don't want that. I don't want that being an excuse yesterday that we're not going to bring a right winger in because, it's all right, we'll stick Gordon in, we'll put Barnes on the left. That'll save us 50, 60 million quid on a right winger. Bollocks. I don't want to see that. I want to see a right winger coming by the end of this window. I don't want us to just think, we'll stick Gordon right and stick Barnes left because it's fine. What if they pick up an injury? Then who's going to take over? We've got defenders on the bench, like Matt Targett on the bench. Why is he on the bench? Why not put Sanusi on the bench? Sanusi's got a bit more about him, a bit more pace about him. Yes, he's a rough diamond that needs smoothing out, and he's raw. But you know what? Throw the kid on. Give him a goal against the likes of Bournemouth. He would have given their defenders a bit of a shock because they wouldn't know what he was going to do because nobody knows how he plays. That's how you get these young players in the team. Give them the experience. And I want to see more of that. I don't want to see us sitting on the bench with 4 or 5 defenders on a bench when we could put a few more attackers on the bench. We need this attacking third needs to be beefed up. And we need that right winger in by the end of this transfer window. Because if we're going in this transfer window, at the end of this window without a right winger, and we've got to rely on as backups, Murphy and Almiron, and let's be honest, Murphy hasn't set the world alight since he's come into the team in the Premier League. Pre-season, he was fantastic. I thought, yeah, great, bring this form into the Premier League. I haven't seen it yet from Murphy. So I want to see Eddie Howe be a bit more ruthless, have a bit more balls to drop players. This is where Eddie's got to put his big pants on now and say, right, I've had enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. Don't say to them, you're good. You're good players. You're good players. No, be honest with them and say, absolutely shit you are. You're on the bench this weekend, and I don't care what you think about it. You're on the bench because you're absolutely shocking. Give them a wake-up call, because that's what they bloody well need. And I tell you now, if you look at managers in the past, like Sir Brian Clough, he wouldn't accept that shit. So why should Eddie Howe be accepting it? Am I right or wrong, John?
Spot on, Tony. Absolutely right. And at the end,
sorry for the wrong guys.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, listen. You mentioned Brian Clough there. I tell you what, the great late Brian Clough wouldn't take any crap from no one at all whatsoever. He doesn't care who you are. If you don't perform, you're out the team. End story. Yeah. And can you imagine now? Can you imagine Brian Clough's managing Newcastle now, right? And he puts over this. He won't have it. Like Joe Linton yesterday, right? If he would have been absolutely mortified the way Joe Linton lost the ball and Livermental defending led to the first goal, he would have tore his hair out, I'm telling you. But you're right. But Eddie, I'm backing him. But please be ruthless. That's all we're asking. It's not too much to ask.
I mean, Simon says people are whinging after 2 games, still unbeaten, and most injuries are back this season. I see where you come from, Simon, but it's not the fact we're unbeaten, it's the performances put in these 2 games have been absolutely shambolic. We're scraped past newly promoted Southampton, who have got an absolutely terrible goalkeeper and goal in Alex McCarthy. Even the Southampton fans hate him that much. They want him out. They don't like him because he's a crap keeper. So they've got, so we scraped past them. We scraped a draw against Bournemouth. We were lucky to get a draw against Bournemouth. Now, people are saying that was never a handball. Now, it has sort of come off his shoulder, Pat, because let's look at it. If that's come off his shoulder, that's where the power's gone and it's gone into the net. If it come off his arm, they wouldn't have generated that much power and it probably wouldn't have gone in the net and it would have gone into Pope's hands. So, but then I also looked at it. Could you say it was also a foul on Dan Burn? But does it also brush Dan Burn's arm as it's going through? That's the thing. It's not very clear cut. So I think we got lucky yesterday by getting that VAR decision. I think we got very lucky with that VAR decision yesterday. But why can't we go to places like Bournemouth and turn these teams over? Why? Why can't we? Because we are shown too much respect. Is this because it's Eddie Howe's ex-team? So, we'll sit back and we'll show you respect. Because if it is, it needs to stop. Stop showing these teams respect. No disrespect to Bournemouth. We need to be going out there. If we want to be in the Champions League this season, we got to go out there, beat teams like Bournemouth, beat teams like Leicester City, like Nottingham Forest. It's no good dilly-dallying around and saying, we'll sit back. I don't want to see that. Don't have these first 12-minute bursts and then do nothing. I want to see us continue it. So that's what I want to see going forward. Tristan says, Tony, it's his arrogance. How did there's not no after 3.5 years? Because most of that side's been here for over a year. Only a new player is Kelly, and we can't use new signings. Yeah, I see where you come from on that one, Tristan. Peter says, if we bring nobody in, then serious questions needs to be asked of Mitchell, Howe and Eels. Yeah, I mean, look, if Eddie Howe's... I mean, this is a thing. We know Eddie Howe wants these English players, but I'm sorry, you've got to live with the times and you've got to go with the times. It's not like you can just buy every English player. English players come at an expense. We are seeing that. Look what Palace are putting on Guy. And he's had 2 games for Palace and he's been poor in both games. Now, Mason, who comes in the channel, said apparently he gave one of the goals away on Saturday. He was a fault. He was a fault for the goal against Mbeumo of Brentford. So look, maybe because his head's been turned, who knows? Jason says Eddie's main supporters and Amanda and Mia Dad aren't with us no more, so Eddie is on a tight line as owners want to be forgiven. Wasn't for the PSR rule, we would have had the right winger we are after in Minty, but that's the rules, unfortunately. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, again, it's one of them, isn't it? Taff says, hi, both. I think Eddie's a 9/0 coach, but he has a 5/10 manager, 5 out of 10 manager. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Eddie's improved us like big player, like Joe, giving youth a chance like Melian has transformed our club relegation candidates. Yeah, I get that, but I don't know. It's a pressurised season for Eddie, I think, this one. He did take Sean off. Yeah, that is a first yesterday. Yes, I was actually pleased when he went off, and when Sean went off, we looked a better team without him. Tony, I think the owners will see any progress is around about Christmas time.
Big up, Alan.
How he progresses. Yeah, probably, Alan. Yeah, absolutely. I think Howe was dropped with Nottingham Forest in mind. It's not Eddie or Mitchell's fault that the club decided to have a replacement SD in before the window opened. Yeah. Kelly isn't a left back. He's not Chippers.
Thank you, Chippers. Thank you.
Longstaff will be a squad player when Tonali's back. Absolutely will be. Peter says, if we're on the top 6 by December, do you think Eddie will be in trouble? As we all know, Eddie has a job in waiting. Well, we don't know. I mean, if we're not in the top 6 by December, who knows? It all depends. It all depends how we're doing.
Tony, if you look at the fixtures we've got, right? I mean, we've got after Spurs, we've got Wolves and Fulham away, then winnable games. Then we've got a big test against Man City. I think we got Chelsea after that. So it's very, I mean, you've got to get some points on the board. Bournemouth, yeah, we know it's tricky. We get that. However, these games, next 3 games, are going to be, we have to be winnable games.
I mean, I know people don't like Eddie Howe being criticised, but look, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, everybody has criticism in their life, and look, if things aren't right, then Eddie Howe has to take responsibility. I'm afraid that's part of life, unfortunately. If I went to work and didn't do something properly, I would have to take responsibility for that. Same as John, same as anybody. So, look, as much as I've said before, I want to see Eddie Howe succeed and bring trophies. But got to see how we do on Wednesday now. That is a massive game on Wednesday, let's be honest. Martin says, hi, Tony, have a great afternoon. Sure, thank you very much. How's my sexy Johnny Sinclair, he says.
Big up to you, Martin. Hope you're well, man. And listen, I'm better now. He said I was tired yesterday. I wasn't tired. I was just quiet. But I'm back and forth.
BR says Murphy was absolutely atrocious again. Some mistakes as Yokohama lost possession 15 times and played 58 minutes. I thought he was shocking. I mean, when he lost that ball on the byline, that my heart was in my mouth because I thought, yeah, we go. This is going to be a goal because he did this in Tokyo against Yokohama when he was dilly-dallying on the byline instead of kicking it out for the corner. The Japanese guy kept the ball in and put it across the box, which meant they scored a goal. And he's got to stop dilly-dallying like that on the byline. You've got to stop doing it. Just get rid of it. Kick it into Rosetta if you have to. Put it out for a corner. Doesn't mean to say that the team's going to score from that corner. If they do score from the corner, that's life. But, you've done your job. You've cleared the ball. Sergeant Charles says 11 superstars rarely works. Players like Longy are vital for a successful squad, in my opinion. Is a squad player? Yeah, I agree. Unless someone ships out, I can't see a right winger coming in, says Simon. Tiger says Longstaff does F all and only gets a pass by most because he's a Geordie. If Target is fit, I would have him as a left back than Kelly. But number one for me is Hall. Absolutely, Alan.
All day long, Alan.
Not saying he's great, but he does what he's asked of the best of his abilities. Ronald says, how are you, Tony? Didn't use the happy clap. I slur you better than that. I had that slur aimed at me last season, which was shit. I would be a happy slap. I just said to my face, no, mate, I'm just saying how it is, mate. I see how it is.
Yeah.
We have Tonali, Willock, both Miley's and Joe White are ahead of Longshade. But again, Eddie Howe refuses to drop him and prefers favourite. Just reminds you of Southgate, who only plays his favourites over form. Lewis says, well said, Tony. Yeah, no worries, mate, no worries. I'm just saying it how it is at the end of the day. That's an Oscar-winning rant there, Tony. I'll nominate you. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, mate.
It's not turning a different way, man. I thought it was Ivan Tony there.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Davey Porter says, I totally agree. Tony, well said. Yeah, thank you, Davey. Yeah, do you know, it's... The basement says, John, I disagree with you. I don't think that Eddie Howe can wear the can if he doesn't have the final say on transfers. If it's look at what Mitchell has done, compare with what Cashworth has done at Man U. I mean, normally a sporting director goes out and gets the players, and then the coach, the head coach, as Eddie Howe is, or manager, then does the training. I think Eddie just wants a lot of saying that's the problem. And he's going to disagree with every player that comes in that's not the player that he wants. I totally agree with the bollocks and the rants. Cashworth's nothing to do with us. No, he has not. Certainly not. It should be a goal because it's not a clear and obvious error. On-field decision should stand. Yeah, well, we got away with it, so I'm not worried. We got out with that one. So like I said, looking at that, I mean, look, there's other right wingers we've been looking at as well. I mean, yes, we know this guy is not going to be well, I would say the chances of signing him are probably zero. But there again, you never know with Todd Bowley. If we flash the money before his eyes, he may well say, do you know what? Take him because I'm going to have Jadon Sancho coming in. So where's he going to fit all these right wingers? That is the question. So again, it's another one to keep an eye on. Another one that's gone quiet is this one, Yilmaz, the Turkish right winger. Again, another one I would have at Newcastle United. I think he's a terrific right winger. Fast, pacey. But again, is he on our radar? I'm not so sure. What about you, John?
I think that's gone past now, to be honest with you, Tony. I'm not going to lie, because, listen, I mean, they're giving us names, but we just don't follow it up. That is the thing. Yilmaz, he does score a lot of goals, but I tell you what, he's got skills and he loves taking on the players as well. That's what I like about him. Do you know what I mean? But he can assist. And I think this guy, he'd be fantastic for us. But I don't know that going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. But surprises does happen. But they've thrown us names. Like I said, we just don't go for them. Is it because Eddie don't want them?
Who knows? I mean, look, I know BR Viking's going to say something here when I do put this picture up. But look, could you see what ended up with this player? Federico Chiesa, John, because look, we know he's well talked about. Barcelona have offered him 11 million quid for him. If there's a chance of getting him for that cheap, I would look, if you get 25 games out of him a season, I would say for 11 million quid, that's a bloody good bargain. I would take it all day long. You know, and but there again, he doesn't have to start every game, because you could play you could play Gordon right and Barnes left. And if, say, Barnes picks up a knock, then you can always put Gordon left and bring Chiesa on to play on the right. So to me, just because he's got a horrendous injury record, and then he's off to be Santa Claus at Christmas because he's always missing at Christmas, and that's the reason why, because he's too busy going around the world delivering presents, then look, for me, at that price, it would be stupid to turn your head away from that. What about you, John?
I think it's down to the wages, Tony, as well. That's why I don't think Newcastle's going to pay that money. I think he's on €9 million a season at Juventus, but he'll probably want 12 mil a season if he comes to Newcastle or any other club as well. But I'll go with Judy. Barca wants him as well. And if anything, he ends up going to Barcelona if he does decide to leave Juventus. But even to do get him, Tony, he has to register. And Barca will have to sell a player before Chiesa does get registered as well. But there's the but. Yeah, it will be absolutely fantastic acquisition. However, it's injury. So if heard about Paul come out and say, if we can get 20-odd games from this guy, cool, we'll take that. So that's all there is to it. But I think it'd be very, very difficult to get at this moment in time. I'm sorry, but it'd be nice to get him. But I think he ended up going to Barca if he decides to leave Juve. But he's got one left on his contract. But the wage on Fade, Tony, is the wage. And Fox has made a good point where clear to see why Barcelona rumours Sunday come to in a minute. But there you go.
AJ says, big up, John.
Big up, AJ.
You boys at the weekend. Come on, you Spurs.
Big Spurs fan.
We normally do well against Spurs. We have to be switched on, that's for sure.
I think Spurs bought well as well, sort of thing this season. I mean, I don't know if Solanke's going to play this Sunday. I really don't know. But Van der Ven, I mean, I know you're not a big fan of Van der Ven. He got ripped apart last season. But I think this guy, the reason he didn't play well, because he got booked earlier on. And that's why it hinged his performance. That's the only reason why. Because he knew he was in the game. And I think that's the worst I've seen him played in a long time. But what a defender he is.
I mean, look, Johnny, I said he was a good defender. He'd done well last season. I think he had probably his worst game when he came up against Newcastle.
Yeah, I agree.
When Isak and Gordon were on fire, and he ended up getting a booking
earlier on,
and he just looked ordinary. He just looked like an ordinary defender. He didn't look anything special that day.
How many marks out of 10 would you give him that day?
Who, Van de Ven? Probably 3.
Fair enough.
Ronald says, not sure how we'll fare against Forest but at Yen we'll probably turn up against Spurs. They will not be relishing coming here due to recent visits. That's a good point. I mean, look, the last couple of seasons have conceded 10 goals and scored 2. So, yeah, they won't enjoy coming there. Lewis says, certain games suit certain players. The game yesterday didn't suit the likes of Longstaff and Murphy, but did suit Barnes and Willock. Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see Willock back, by the way. I think Willock has got to be close to the start. I'll tell you what, if you find that form back from Willock, then he first came, I tell you what, and he stays fit, the Joe Willock that we know and love could be a huge difference this season. He is key.
Yeah. The base man says, Tony, I hear what you say about Longstaff, but who would you have started? One, you could have started with Willock and maybe give him an hour. Just get his match fitness up. Look, I mean, Jamie Mendy didn't really put much of a foot wrong in the summer in the pre-season. Neither did Joe White, to be fair. And I'd rather they had a crack ahead of Longstaff, But it is what it is. Chelsea's after Chiesa the next crazy, says Simon. Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. Chelsea won't sell, says Julie. Was impressed with Yilmaz during the Euros, I was as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Good player.
It's quite the Paul Gallant's workplace. Alan says, lads, do you think Eddie will play his full squad on Wednesday? I don't think he will, no. Depends. If Chelsea can get Osimhen, then I'd say they have to be serious contenders. Hasn't Chiesa gone to Barca? Not yet. No, it's not a done deal yet. Ron says, why has it been sent to Man U allowed to flout the rules with FFP during COVID? Where's the press with Dick Masters on this? Absolutely.
Again, look after the big 6 again.
Chiesa going cheap. Tony really wants that commission. I wish, mate. I think Barca are offering 300k a week, which we can't. Fair enough. It's not just 2 games. It's been like that for the past 6-9 years, and it needs to change every time we see the same shite. It must mean for trophies wise, they can't get him registered. Victor Rocky as well instead. Yeah, I mean, look, Vitor Roque going on loan to Real Betis, isn't he? So
yeah,
that's a good signing for Betis. I would have had him on loan.
Agreed.
Cloud DZ says, in my opinion, it's not fair to see Howe must get top 4 if he does not get backed in the window. The owners can't expect him to get the top 4. That's not fair.
That's a fair shout there. That's a fair shout.
Yeah.
But he's got to be backed. I mean, if he gives 3-4 players over 100 mil and it didn't work out, then okay, cool. But look, at the end of the day, the base is saying to Eddie, look, prove yourself you're an elite manager. Well, he's not elite anyway, but hey-ho. But it's, I think if you don't get top 4 or top 6 or don't win a trophy, what's going to happen to the key players who got in the club? Do you know what I mean? Like Bruno probably thinking, I'm 27, I want to win. Isak would be thinking, I'm 25, 26, I want to win trophies. Yeah. Anthony Gordon, when he left on his contract, do you know what? I'm going to sit tight to see if Liverpool comes back in for him. And then if those 3 players get ripped away, what will happen is we're going to have some of the players that we had pre-takeover.
Yeah, I mean, end of August, says Foxy, still no one has taken Chiesa. Clear to see why Barca rumours of a done deal, but also rumours that the deal's collapsed. Not sure what the true story is there. Jimmy Ray says, hi mate, he says, I'll take Chiesa all day. Spurs at our place, can Jacob Murphy shine again? Well, yeah, exactly. He likes playing against Spurs. AJ says that game was Mickey's worst game for us. He's absolutely quality, but what a striker Isak is, absolutely.
I totally agree.
Gary D, good afternoon, lads. Good afternoon, Gary D.
Look at Gary D.
When Isak put Van de Ven on his arse and neck. Do I get a takeaway for tea or not? Yeah, get a takeaway.
Get a takeaway. It's a yay. It's a yay for me.
Saves cooking, mate. Chiesa would be a great statement signing, but I don't think it would happen. And Bremo would be too a great option. I don't think Brentford's letting him go if Tony's on his way out of the club. Or White is injured. I agree that Chiesa is a cracking player, but I prefer Mbeumo. Jesus, Chip has. Eddie's got to be ruthless with some of the players and need his best players on the pitch. James Rodriguez joined Rayo Vallecano on a free.
Good move for him. Good move for him.
Or Chelsea in the mess putting 6 past Wolves yesterday. Well, the way they're going with their transfers, I mean, they're going to sign Sancho soon, aren't they? This transfer window's been shocking, says Dave Bullman, going into last week, scrambling for players. It's not good enough. We shouldn't be doing this. We should have had these targets lined up, brought in, and done before pre-season to have them bedded in, but we haven't.
Do you know what it is, Tony, right? If this PSR hasn't came in, right, we would have got players in through the door by now. Gay would have been through the door, happy to pay what Palace wants, yeah? Other clubs, right, we offer them money and they get what they want. But the Premier League and Alex Crook from TalkSport's come out and he made a flipping good point, right? The PSR has killed everything in the transfer market. And this is why the European clubs are taking advantage. Losing Elise to Bayern Munich, yeah? And other quality players, yeah, out on loan. It's not a good look for the Premier League. It's not a good look for the Premier League, I'm telling you. They are absolutely effed up. Simple as that. And this is why they want their own Super League. They don't want a Super League. But guess what, Tony? Guess what, people in the chat? They've got it. They've got their Super League. They've got the Big Six. Yeah. That's their Super League, yeah? The other clubs like ourselves, Villa, Brighton, West Ham, you know, got our own leagues now. That's it, yeah? That's what they want. And they got it. They killed the Premier League. They killed the competition. They killed the infrastructure. Do you know what I mean? Howe.
Tiger says, Tony, are you worried for signings, or are you like half the other fan base who say there's still plenty of time? Look, time isn't on our side. Time's not our friend now. Deals can be done rather quickly. We've seen it. You see how quickly deals can be done. So, look, while I'm a bit concerned about the lack of signing transfer activity, I'm sort of going to go with, like, there's still time to get signs. And I'll tell you what, the best time that we can judge this window is after 11 p.m. on Friday night. When that window slams firmly shut, then that's when we can decide how good a transfer window it's been. So I'll tell you what, let's see what happens after 11 o'clock on Friday night. When is Callum due back? I'm not sure. Lee says if we don't get where this season we can see our top players leaving, they won't want to play. They want to play top level. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Chipper says your reaction, Tony, is priceless. We still have at least 11 players from the Bruce era. We do. That's the problem. We need to get rid of some of these players, don't we? PSR stands for the Premier League suppression rules. It's Hankin Potter League. Absolutely, Jimmy. I totally agree.
100%.
Chipper says, John, I also think no one wants to deal with us as they know we're a threat to to the Man Cities.
Yeah, I'll go with what Sam said as well. I'm not being funny, but I'm going to say this now, right? This is why Crystal Palace don't really want to sell Gay to us, because they think we're a threat to Palace. They're probably thinking they'd rather sell Gay to a top 6 club, yeah? Or Champions League club, do you know what I mean? They'd rather sell him for slightly less than to us, do you know what I mean? Because I'll go with what Chip has to say, and that's the thing. But it's sad, isn't it? Yeah, we offer them good money. They goes and turns it down, and that's that, really. But one day, Tony, when this PSR finally goes out the window, right, we'll be challenging season in, season out, and then we can explain what we want, how we want, and we'll be kicking asses. That is it.
Thing is, do you know what I was thinking, John, right? And I don't know if other people in the chat are thinking the same. I think if, say, a Liverpool come in now, said to Palace, we'll give you 50 million for Mark Gee, I reckon Palace would turn around to them and say, okay, we'll take the 50 million and you can have them. And if that did happen, then that would show you how much they are against us. But you see, I think Palace are playing games with us because when we tried to get Dougie Friedman in as a sporting director and that went on, and then he signed a new deal and stayed with them, I think they're just playing games and we need to move away from this. Jason says, breaking news, Eddie Howe's put an offer for Portsmouth star Matt Ritchie to slot in at right wing. Eddie knows him well from his time spent at Bournemouth.
I like it.
Tiger says, Brighton have spent a lot this summer, so has Villa, West Ham, etc. What have we done? Nothing. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a serious business, Brighton. Fair play to them. 170 million spent now. They're not even done yet. They're getting this Turkish lad as well. So they're going to be spending close to 200 million quid in one summer window. They're backing this hustler. They're backing him to the tune of nearly 200 M's. Yeah? I mean, no closer.
Tiger says, so if that's the case, why don't we go abroad and buy players if other Premier League teams don't want to sell? Absolutely, I agree. We know it's because Eddie Howe wants to buy players in the Premier League because it's having that Premier League experience. But I'm afraid sometimes you've got to go abroad and get these players. Jason says, talking about his faves, have you noticed Trips, Wilson, Fraser, Ritchie, Kelly were all his former players at his former clubs? Think he got another favourite? Yeah. Yeah, Trippier at Burnley, didn't he? Talking of other right wingers, I mean, here's another guy we're being linked with as well. Again, is this one that we can see coming through? I'm not so sure. But Ferran Torres is another one that we're linked with. I really don't know who we're going to bring in as a right winger. If there's alternatives now to Maruetti, because obviously Maruetti, I can't see Chelsea selling them. But if they sign Sancho, then I don't know. They're going to have to get rid of somebody, and they can't get rid of Neto because they've just signed him from Wolves. So, they're going to have to get rid of somebody. I mean, I would take Ferran Torres all day long. But again, I know people say wages and things like that. But again, I'm not sure. Because I look at right wingers and I can't see, is there a lot out there that we can actually go out there and buy, John?
The thing is, though, right? I mean, go back to Ferran Torres, yeah, he is a good player, but there's a reason why Man City let him go, because basically Barca must have done City a favour when they decided to get Ferran Torres, yeah, good player, yeah, and Pep wouldn't stand in anyone's way if they want to leave the club and seek opportunities elsewhere. However, right, I mean, he is getting games at Barca, and they say he's already to understand. He wants to stay at Barca and fight for his place, yeah. But whether that's true or not, nobody knows. However, if you push and push and push, even get him on a season-long loan with a view for a permanent buy, I'll take it all day. But would I take Ferran Torres? I will do, because I think he's got unfinished business in the Premier League. And I look at Mo Salah, came to Chelsea, didn't work out, went to Italy with Fiorentina and Roma, comes out to Liverpool, and the rest is history. I think this guy can come in, and I think he'd do really well.
Yeah. Splat says, what's the news on YouTube about Man City getting around the charges? I've not heard nothing like that.
That one there at all.
Mark says, Newcastle are behaving like the guy that wants to date the girl, but she isn't interested. We spent too long trying to get gay. We should have looked elsewhere by now. I totally agree.
There's a couple players I would have gone for. Logan Costa, right?
Yeah, 23 million quid.
20 million quid for Toulouse. I'd take a punt on that guy. Brighton would have done. I don't see why you should take a punt on that guy. I think he's a really good player for Toulouse. One of the best players one of the best defenders in Ligue 1. Yeah, get him. We talked about Silkerman, right? Or Silkerman, whatever his name is, at Leipzig. Go and get him. Yeah, there's defenders out there. There's players out there, but yet we spend weeks and weeks and weeks getting this guy. After 2 bids, walk away. Yeah, they don't want to sell him. Bosh. Yeah, go and get someone else.
Dave Bullman says, West Ham, Brighton and Man U have gone in early and done good deals. Gruda and Mats Vifas for 55 million is excellent business for Brighton. Yilmaz release clause is 30 million. Says it all.
Yeah, says it all, done it. It says a lot, done it. It says a lot. But we're just sitting still. But people say, right, Be patient, be patient. We're not happy clappers. We want the best for the football club, yeah? And we're saying it.
I mean, apparently last summer, I've said this before, but last summer, Ashworth wanted to bring Adam Morton to Newcastle from Blackburn last summer. But Eddie Howe's nephew, Andy Pandy, said, no, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. Well, hang on. If he's not good enough, how in that few months he was at Palace, he got in the England team for the Euros? If he's not good enough, I'm sorry, that's a major. That's a major. I'm trying to think of the word, but anyway, that just shows you how out of touch that guy must be if he doesn't think Adam Morton would have been good enough. What do you make of that, John? It's baffling, isn't it?
What does then? I just baffed, absolutely baffed. I mean, Andy Howe, right? More than Andy Pandy. Do you know what I mean? Let's be real, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not my manager, and also glad he's not my CEO. He'd be an absolute disaster. I'm telling you, a disaster.
Tiger says West Ham are looking to sell Ward-Prowse. Would anybody take him?
Well, he's 30. I think he's 30 now. I don't think he wants to leave the South. He's not leave the South. That is the thing. So, I mean, look, if we wanted to get him, we could have got him mid-20s, 26, 27 maybes. But for me, I feel we left that one too late. That is the thing.
Yeah. Now, we know Eddie Howe yesterday has spoken about Kieran Trippier. Now, we know Trippier come out the other day saying that he wants to leave Newcastle United because he thinks his future there, because obviously Livramento got the start ahead of him. Now, when he come on yesterday, we saw his leadership, we saw how great he was on the pitch, how he helped the team through with his experience, took a couple of set pieces. Look, and Eddie Howe now come out and said he doesn't want Trippier to go. Look, I think keep him for this season, but there again, if somebody comes in and offering money, I can't see the club turning it down. If I'm honest, I think the club would just sell him. If someone comes in and says, we'll give you 10, 12 million for Trippier, I think the club will just say, we'll take it and sell him. I think they will.
Yeah,
I thought he played well yesterday when he come on, I must admit, though.
100% Tony Alfie. He came on and led the team for the front, putting some good crosses in, etc., etc. And we knew that because I thought Livramento was shocking yesterday. I think he's a year away from being ready for the Premier League. I love Tino, I really do, but I think he's a year away. I don't think he's there yet, but he will get there. And I'll back in this guy to get there. But you see yesterday, he was woeful, and I can't lie. But for Trippier, if he decides to move on, we move on. Simple as that. However, it'll be a kick in the teeth. I mean, the guy's come in as a pioneer for Newcastle United, right? We're going to let a leader score. Simple as that. And then we're technically back to square one. For me, for what I watch with Trippier, I don't think you should sell him. No way. I hope he doesn't leave. Simple as that. But we know he's got issues. We know that. I'm not going to mention it here, but I'd sort of talk about Kieran Trippier as a footballer. It's as simple as that, Tony. But after yesterday, or is he playing for a move? That's another thing. But it's on the balance of Kieran at the minute.
Yeah, I think he could be playing for a move, John. The thing is, though, look, we saw all these rumours come out yesterday and blah, 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 right? And people putting it and saying it's Trippier and everything, right? Okay. Put that aside. If this is the case, and he has done that, say, for instance, and I'm not saying he has, but if he has done that, the owners at the club may think, well, this is a bad look for the club, and they want to move him on. Do you know what I mean, John? So
yeah, man,
it may bring bad press to the club. Anyway, we'll move off from that. So Foxy says, Ward-Prowse would be great if the game had a roll-on, roll-off subs rule. Bring him on for free kicks, lol. So if you could bring him on for 10 minutes, we've got a free kick, we'll get Ward-Prowse on. There you go. Take that, James. Right, off you go again.
Yeah. Buddy.
Tiger says, Byrne needs to leave the club. Do you think Byrne's getting a bit old?
The thing is, right, we're judging for the season, right? I mean, I think his contract's coming to an end anyway, but I'm sure Eddie will get him down to sign for another year. But he's 32 now. We'll see what he does this season, but I want to see young players come in. I keep Dan as a squad player, and we'll see how it goes from there. But the bottom line is, yeah, I thought he did all right yesterday. I think that he did a brilliant block in the second half. Unlucky with a header, which Neto made a fantastic save, but I think Byrne did nothing wrong yesterday, to be fair. I think he did okay.
Tiger says, Tony, your thoughts on saying Trafford? Look, if it's a loan with an obligation to buy, then I haven't got a problem with that. That obviously means if we are looking at him, then all I can say then is if that is the case, it must mean Dubravka and Vlachodimos are moving on. So that would be in some ways a good signing because it would be an understudy to Pope and he'd be a future number one. So, yeah, I can kind of see that one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, if you're going to sign him, why do you not keep Trafford at Burnley for the season at Burnley on loan, and then he comes to us in the summer? Like the guy, Valencia keeper, Mamadashvili, signed for Liverpool, and he stays on loan for another season.
Malik Chow was dropped by Milan at the weekend after his own goal on week 1 against when Milan lost to Parma.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Milan 1 point from 2 on Paulo Fonseca. Not a good start. They spent heavily in the summer, and you know what? They are seeing goals. And Chow, I don't know if his head's been turned. I don't know, but he might be thinking, you know what? I might want to come to Newcastle after all. I mean, look, we offer 65 million for Gay, but not happy to pay 40 mil, 35 mil to 40 mil for this guy. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
Chow don't want to leave Milan. He wants to stay in Milan, play Champions League football. But his form at the minute has not been great at the minute. The Milan fans are not happy with his performance, and they're right to drop him.
Yeah, currently in the conference at the moment, Gateshead are drawn 1-1 away from home to Oldham Athletic at Boundary Park, so they're 1-1 at the moment. And York City are getting beat by Boston United 1-0. And South Shields are losing 1-0 at home to Scunthorpe in the National League North, and Spennymoor are 2-1 up over Brackley Town. But yeah, the Heat are doing really well, aren't they? I mean, you know, second top. So yeah, if they get that winner, they'll go top. But yeah, they're playing really well at the moment. Gateshead, it'd be nice to see them get back in the Football League.
100%, because I think they deserve to. But yeah, they deserve to get back in the Football League. That'd be brilliant. I mean, then maybe it's just maybe some of our players, the young players, go and play for Gateshead.
Mick says, Tony John, what's your thoughts on Shearer's comments about something not being right in the club? I think he hit the nail on the head. Something's not right 100%. Because there's something going on. Something's going on there, and
agreed.
I don't know what it is, but it needs to be sorted out sooner rather than later.
Because the thing is, though, Tony, with the second game of the season, you can't come out with uncertainty at the club. Do you know what I mean? Something ain't quite right, and it needs to be said, because at the minute, we as fans are in the dark in a minute. They need to come out and tell us, and
yeah, absolutely.
We just go from there. And these next few days is going to be absolutely telling. So I look at the press conference. I don't know if you might have seen it, Tony, about Eddie Howe. He does not look happy at all. His demeanour, it does not look right at all whatsoever. Regarding Trippier, you can tell by his face. You don't have to do rocket science to keep it quiet. We know what's going on. He does not look himself. It's not the first time, mind.
Yeah, he hasn't. I mean, he didn't look happy in that conference whatsoever. So, who knows? Anyway, guys and girls, we've been on an hour and a half, and we'll come to the end of the show. But it's been a cracking show, and it's been great to have John on as well. John, what have you got coming up on your channel, and like to tell people where they can find you as well?
Thanks for having us on, Tony. I should have done a show on Wednesday, the Premier League show on Harry's channel, but unfortunately I told Harry we were to make it. I thought it was tomorrow, but it's just a mess up. I knew it's the 28th, but got a game on. But that's going to be a wrench. But I'm going to try and do the Real Talk podcast show. Are you available tomorrow, mate, about it? Talk about the latest, or you got darts?
Tomorrow, I'm at darts tomorrow night, John. Yeah,
darts, are you? Oh, fair enough. So tomorrow, I'll think of something to do. I might do a preview show, try and get a Forest fan on. That'd be great. Whether it be live, I don't know. Could we record one again? Wednesday after the match. Thursday, it could be a review show. So I'm going to think of doing a review show on Thursday, and then be a bit above on the previous well. And then on Friday, I think I'm traveling a lot, even though it's my birthday, to Newcastle. Saturday, I don't know what I'm going to do. Watch the Gateshead game or the Burnley game. Because Burnley's got an FA Cup tie against Dunstan. So I'm going to weigh it up, like, you know what I mean?
Go and watch the Gateshead game, John. Go and watch the Gateshead game.
Yeah, I'll probably watch the Heat game there. And yeah, Jason checks out it. Cool. I'll try and get Jason, if you're free tomorrow, all right, get you on tomorrow. And then about 8 o'clock for the podcast show. And then I'm going to try and get Pete on as well. I hope he comes on. And then I'm going to try and get that American guy on as well. He came on, did a match review of us. So, yeah, I'm going to do a show at 8 o'clock tomorrow, the Real Talk podcast show. We're going to talk about different things. We're going to talk about transfers. We're going to talk about Eddie. We're going to talk about the preview as well. So, we just go for them, man. So, I think the preview show tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you find us on John Sinclair TV as well, if you're new to the channel, I'm going to put a link in a minute as John Sinclair TV on the road to 20,000. It's going to take a while to get to 20k. I'll be over the flipping moon.
Mixes, I really think Eddie Howe signed up the England job. His head's not in the game. I know we've got an interim manager, but I think the FA will want a permanent figure with, yeah, they will do. World Cup round the corner. Oh, who knows? So coming up, I've got on Wednesday, I'll have the pre-match show. So do join me for the pre-match on Wednesday ahead of the Forest game, which should be around about 6:30, because the team sheets come out early, don't they? And then I should have a preview for the Spurs game this week, and also there'll be a pre-match on Sunday for that game as well, and any transfer shows as well. Probably be one Friday, maybe, because it's deadline day as well. So yeah, any transfer news that does break, I will come out with it straight away, and we'll do a show on it. Whoever signs, we're praying that happens. But anyway, I'm sure we'll get the signings, and I keep the faith, guys. Keep the faith. If you have enjoyed what you see, please don't forget to smash a like. It does help the channel. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe, be part of the great community. Also, hit the bell notification. That tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. Just going to some last few comments. There's John's channel there.
If you're new to the channel, just subscribe. Thank you.
Excellent show, as always, Tony and John. Ta-ta for now, says Splat, and everyone in the chat. Bye-bye to you, Splat.
See you, Splat. It's good to see you, man.
But look, guys, keep the faith. I think we could do well in this transfer window. I think, it could end up being an excellent window, or it could end up being a drab window. But judge the window when it's closed, 11 p.m. on Friday night. That's the time to judge the window. Technically, if we want players in for the Spurs game, we need to get them registered before tea time on Friday evening. That is the thing. That is the key. So hopefully we'll have some new signings through the door. Please, please, please. We will certainly find out by then. Canny, that says Andrew, and Julie says goodbye, and
Big
take
up,
care
Julie,
as well. So anyway, as I always say, remember, the future is bright. The future is definitely black and white. And it's bye-bye from me.
And are we the lads? And let's get some signers come through the door, eh?
Yep. Are we the lads and the lasses? Bye-bye for now.
Bless up. Bless up.